So.
What other tricks do you have?
That's as much mad scientist. I mean, it's all mad scientist. Mad scientist, microphone, mad scientist.
You don't have any dry ice?
Audio, no.
That would be good in a teapot.
We have Ian Booth entering, and there's 2 chairs stacked up there. Make them come apart and you have one.
I feel naked.
You feel naked.
You should get naked, Ian. we all got coats.
I used to live on Kauai.
Where you were
A
naked.
year and a half. It was required dress code.
Right. Well, just think of yourself back in Kauai.
No, Mr. Booth is the distinguished producer of the Green Life Radio Bistro.
Green Radio Bistro.
Okay, Green Radio Bistro.
So do you do just raw food?
No. No, and this, there you go. So you're going to get it so that Ian is in the shot too?
Yeah, get the back of my head.
Come on, up.
Our #1 camera.
Now nobody's in the shot.
Just a roll of toilet paper on. And we're going to do the show that way for the rest of the next hour. We'll be doing the
Cleanup.
It'll be the Mad Scientist toilet paper roll tea party. And but Ian is the distinguished producer of the Green Radio Bistro, and this past Tuesday our musical guest was David Holt. And
Ooh.
Can you say the name of the guy that was with him?
Josh Goforth.
Is that it? Goforth. Josh Goforth. And Josh Goforth was neither of them was slack in the least.
Great player, was he?
Neither of them were slack in the least. And we have a dog for tea. I don't know if that dog drinks tea.
She'll drink anything.
Huh?
She'll drink or eat anything.
Oh, will she now? I didn't put a cup out for her.
Yeah, she's vegetarian too.
Along with
Now I hear stunning reviews of the tea.
Yeah.
And I'm game.
Yeah, well, we have some tea people with us. She's a tea people, and he's a tea people, and we didn't have any real like oolong. So
Same province, Fujian province. So we're looking forward to this.
we could get some, but we were unprepared for.
And FedEx it should be here within 24 hours, I would think.
No, I have someone local. I have someone. I mean, I could stop now. I could run, pick it up, and be back by the end of the show. But it was just I'm not.
Wouldn't be worth it.
I'm
not going to do that.
So this is an opportunity for producers. We use this partly as an opportunity for producers to plug their shows. You know.
In the same way that cowboys would plug somebody that they didn't much care for.
Or the bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, our show, you know, not to blow our own horn, but our show is starting to look really good.
Except on purple.
No, that's the monitor. That was a
blows out on the edges.
That's a ground. The whole monitor is a ground score. So
so you need to clarify that you are part of the crew for the Green Radio Bistro.
I crew for the bistro. I do
our illustrious sound engineer.
I do the audio for the bistro, which is also a mad scientist mess, just like the audio for the.
Where do you guys do that out of? Here?
The cafe in Green Life.
The Green Life grocery store. I'm not as picky as probably I should be about. I try not to do a lot of say a lot of names and plugs and stuff like that. But then again, that's where we hang out. That's how the whole thing came about. People were asking me about it yesterday. I was telling everybody about that we had David Holt on and stuff like that, and Jonathan had joined us, and Zach had joined us for tea yesterday, and so we were talking about the after party a little bit and stuff like that.
They did a great job on the show, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, and so we were talking about it, and somebody asked, well, how is it that you came to be doing it in a grocery store? That you're doing your TV show in a grocery store? And I told him, I said, well, like for instance, Vincent's Ear had closed down some of the coffee shops, and it had become our coffee shop. It was our hangout, and Ian and I, although we probably met years ago, we hung out with the same gang and stuff like that. We'd met even here in Asheville and stuff, but we really never knew each other and hung out. We actually got to know each other hanging out in the grocery store, because you can get coffee there, and they got a little deli, and then they got a place where seats are. They got a pretty good bunch of little space for tables and stuff, and
up the inclined plane.
And it worked out that way. And
turned out to really be a nice set. Load in was really easy, and the Green Radio Bistro would not have happened without Green Life.
Right.
They put in the very first financial support that kept the idea alive until we could get.
So what is your programming? What do you do?
I guess you'd call it a variety show.
We have musical guests, and we have interviews with people on subjects primarily sustainability issues, and ecological issues and things like that. And in that arena, we have someone who's really good, which is Ned Doyle. Do you know who Ned Doyle is? You can give him a little background on Ned.
Yeah, Ned is, I call him Mr. Sustainability. Mm-hmm. He first came to Western North Carolina, I guess it was the late 70s. And he was one of the top people with the old Mother Earth News. Mm-hmm. And at one point, he actually ran the old Mother Earth News Eco Village.
Oh, I remember that.
And is a no-kidding, for real expert on all types of alternative energy, alternative transportation. He lives off the grid in a little house down in Etowah that has, the world could
fall apart and he'd be okay.
And he would be fine. He wouldn't even notice. And so having him and Dr. D. Eggers from the university is as the two co-hosts are really knowledgeable. Between them, they can carry their side of the conversation with just about any guest that we have on a wide range of topics. The whole idea around sustainability, and we define sustainability on the show as meeting today's needs without causing harm to the environment, to other people, or to future generations. And the truth is, from that perspective, we are going to hell in a handbasket. We're not meeting those standards even remotely. So we're trying with the show to raise the level of what's called sustainability literacy, so that folks have a more of a working understanding of what that really means. For example, meeting today's needs. Does that mean everybody needs a 5,000 square foot house on a couple acres of land with 2 cars in the driveway? The planet Earth can't handle that. But what can it handle?
Well, there's one thing though. The planet Earth can handle it. The surviving of the human race can't handle it. The human race is like living on the edge of a potato chip, meaning we're just one of those little ruffles. Mother Earth won't. It'll be, whatever, It's we, and that's the interesting thing. Everyone's, the environment. Well, it's our environment that's really most at scale. In the geologic scale, it means nothing what really we do to this planet, because it's only killing us, a few other species, but they're going to go anyway. Thank you. It's how they go. Maybe that might be a little problem, but everybody goes at some time. We're the ones who have an ability to think about making our environment. We might last a little longer if we only, and you know what the real problem is? It's not war, it's not pollution, it's not sustainability, it's not environment. The real problem is that love is a whisper locked in a closet.
There you go.
That if you hadn't said it, that was going to be the next comment out of my mouth. That and the Bucky Fuller, the futurist, who was probably one of the most lucid big picture thinkers we've ever had on the planet. Bucky pointed out that if you ever looked at any species that became extinct, they did so because of over-specialization. And they were not able to adapt to sudden change. Hey, howdy.
Watch out for the dog.
Oh, watch out for the dog.
It's a good dog.
Chocolate.
Oh, you brought some chocolate. He'll share that around. He won't eat it all in front of us.
No. I'll share it around.
He's a photographer.
Is this one of your photos?
Yeah, that's a photo book I have. I guess he wants something. He wants it all.
She wants a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Now, dogs aren't really supposed to eat chocolate. They
No.
Yeah, this is a dark chocolate lime and macadamia nuts.
Ooh. That's the photo story that we're talking here. Dark
nuts.
chocolate with macadamia nuts.
All right.
Back to Kauai.
All right.
This is very beautiful.
Thank you.
I think I might have put it on a white background or a colored background.
Are these your photos?
It's like a,
Where was this?
I like to map my stuff on black too.
yeah, I like black. Well, for a little book like this, I thought black would work. Bad breath.
Dog breath.
Dog breath. Dog breath.
Bella, go lie down over in the corner. Go on.
Yeah, go on.
Go on, Bella. Corner.
Yeah.
Is that dogatosis?
Dogatosis, yes.
Good dog.
Hella dogatosis.
Can I take my piece?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
How do you know which one is yours?
That's it.
I know which one mine is. How to tell which one mine is. Which one is
All
the
good?
biggest piece? These are awesome.
Lick the whole thing.
It's a little backwash.
A camel shot. All right.
I used to have Leica, but I changed it.
Here, I'll pass this around. I want to look at it later in more detail.
I never tasted this one, but they're all good. They're all good.
Is it Diablo? Oh,
Dagobah.
Dagobah.
Where,
Yeah, that
Yoda was.
that black square on the table is the microphone.
So you don't cover it.
Well, maybe he wanted to get in on the act.
Hi, I'm a chocolate bar.
That's right. So
I'm
things sound a
sustainable.
little flat now, you know why.
Yep. Emery Lovins, he was my favorite guy.
Bucky?
No, Emery Lovins.
Amory. I used to work with Amory.
Soft Energy Pass.
He's a great guy.
And him and his wife.
He and Hunter are amazing. They're
Yeah.
not together as an item anymore.
But they're a team. That's the things they do are pretty amazing.
Absolutely. I once spent a week with Amory, and my job was to explain to a Dutch engineer exactly. No, and fortunately, the fellow Peter Knapp spoke English, but not very well. So Amory would do a data dump. I'm a state certified energy consultant. So Amory would just go for an hour, and then it would take me the rest of the day to explain to this fellow what Amory had said. And you know, he's a concert pianist also, and at one point he had to choose between being a mega brain scientist or being a concert pianist. Wow. And he had a word processor that could not keep up with him. He could type faster than the computers at the time. This was in,
that was in the early 70s.
In the late 80s.
Oh, late 80s?
Yeah. And he could type
really
faster than his word processor could keep up with in 1980s. This was 86.
Bionic Man.
It was amazing. It was amazing to watch.
He's a focused individual.
Absolutely, and a great sense of humor, and one who really sees the big picture.
Yeah, just like Fuller.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, the biodome that Windstar built is on the property now that Rocky Mountain Institute took over. Yeah, so that biodome is sort of under Amory's care and keeping.
Right. Well, they needed someone like him. It was kind of going to the edge. More water?
We're working 2 pots here. Let me see.
Bring oh! That gets me every time.
That gets me every
time. All right, now tell the dog to go back to the corner again.
Go back to the corner.
Okay, now.
Bella. No.
Let's see if I remember. I put this coffee, this tea, in this pot. Okay, this kind in that pot.
Okay,
so
that'll work.
There we go.
Was it chocolate?
Which one is the lower octane?
Yes.
Oh, are you like a decaf kind of?
No, but the lower octane.
Octane. So do you guys go on about hemp?
I can't say that either is.
Hemp?
Did Amory and I go?
No. You as this, sustainable radio show, have you discussed hemp and its?
We had a show 2 weeks ago that was about sustainable agriculture, and had a couple of great interviews. But when the show is happening, as a producer, I'm paying attention to 65 different things,
right,
and not to the content of the interviews.
Right.
John being the one who is really listening up close and personal to every word that's being said. Did they talk about hemp?
I haven't heard the hemp issue brought up by anybody except Gordon.
Of course.
Because there is, hemp always gets confused with marijuana and THC.
Chocolate.
There's a great book called Emperor's New Clothes by
David Herrera.
No.
Roger Pembroke.
No. Either one.
Putney Westerfield.
No. Oh God, Hare is his last name.
David. Not?
No, Hare. It's not David. It's something else. But anyway, it's a very scholarly thing, and it goes back. The reason why hemp is illegal. It used to be every farmer had to grow it for its fiber reasons, but all paper used to be made from hemp, and then Mr. DuPont developed chemicals that broke down paper so it could be rolled into paper. I mean, wood, so it could be rolled into paper, because wood is the worst thing to try and make paper out of.
Jack Hare.
And because the wood fibers go everywhere, and so they don't line up. So you have to bathe them in these really toxic chemicals that basically
Pollute the streams.
oh man, beyond that, kills the streams. Because it's dioxin is the numero uno sidebar of that process.
The Constitution's written on it.
Yes, yep, it is. And the hemp seed has more protein than any other seed. You get more protein out of hemp than out of soybeans or anything else. And the major reason was Henry Ford spent millions of dollars to make hemp a fuel, because he was a total xenophobe, and he knew if we had oil we'd have to go to foreign sources, and he hated everybody, so he didn't want to do that. And he knew that hemp was a basic weed, and you'd get 14 crops a year. They're talking about turning corn into fuels, and that you can get at best 3 harvests out of that. And what will happen if you turn corn into fuel? We might have better fast food, but we will starve the third world, because that's their major thing, that because we have so much of it, we basically
food or fuel.
Right. And the thing to drive our cars on is hemp. And the other thing is that Morris Diesel designed.
There's probably a lot of people driving cars on
hemp, but in a different way. And Morris Diesel designed the diesel engine to be driven on biofuels. Yeah. Right. And this is almost 150 years old, this technology.
Yeah, the capacity for biofuels to serve the needs of humanity beyond anything other than a pretty constricted transportation use vastly overstretches the agricultural potential of the global.
Whereas hemp, being a weed, you could go to the middle of the Midwest, and it's going on the highways, because in World War II, when our manila was cut off to make rope out of, because the Japanese took it, the government made everybody grow hemp. And then after war they tried to stop it, but it's like I said, you wouldn't want to smoke that, but it would make great plastics, great rope, great fuel, etc.
Clothing made out of hemp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Houses
Light
made out of
jackets
hemp.
made out of our
You can make anything out of it. It's the most
pilots made out of
diverse, and that you have so many crops in one year, and it doesn't take from the earth like corn and wheat and other crops do. It's very, earth nurturer.
Yeah, that did not come up. I would have noticed if they had gone on at some length about that, but I know that in an effort to have sustainable agriculture in western North Carolina, we desperately need a range of alternatives to tobacco. And that would certainly
Well, that's happening. They're kind of, but around this area was the center for medicinal herbs in the turn of the century. Where we have that little garden down at the base of UNCA. All of that street was this guy's herb garden. And he died at the turn of the century, and he gave all that property to the city and a chunk of cash to make sure that those herbs stayed there and that there was a school built to teach people about that. Of course, the people didn't do that.
But they did put name tags
on every little leaf. Yes, exactly. But if you go on either side, and that was the big brouhaha about 10 years ago when that road was just a two-lane road, was the woman who was the environmental teacher at that time found out, that's how I found out, that that's what that was, and that those plants were still there.
Did you march in the protest to keep them from widening that?
That was a bunch. She had
down?
already made a gig with a deal with DOT to like do it in a way that wouldn't ruin this stuff. And that guy, Red or whatever, the quote unquote environmental activist, chained himself to the thing and got his picture in the paper, and it blew the deal. And that's why they built the 4-lane highway. And that's what DOT really wanted to do, and they used him. He's almost a what do you call those guys? A Stalinist obstructionist, a plant. You know, he seems to do that every time something interesting is about to happen. He jumps in, no, you know, and changes himself to whatever, and gets his picture and talks on the radio. He's good for a 20-second soundbite. Where this poor lady,
maybe you can get him to chain himself to an automobile
and have it drive away.
That's right.
Have it drive away. Or, no. But this poor lady put in all the effort, and she had a nervous breakdown. And that's one of the biggest
or a nervous breakthrough, depending on what you do with it.
Oh, yeah. Right. And that's one of the problems about activism, is that usually there is one or two people who become the nucleus and they just burn out. Whereas real activism is where you have a community of people and everybody does what they do best, and there is no real, so they can't really be attacked or defamed because it's a community.
Activist cells, that's what we need.
Yes.
No army centralized command. We need activist cells.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what the government would like to do, is have us all go back to the cells.
Cells, right. But they have a different idea of cells.
Oh,
Which cell?
Well, they already have those. You know, you go to Pennsylvania and they have these.
They're against stem cells.
These camps.
camps.
That are, you know, and they're not nice camps either. You know, they're not.
They're not fun camps.
No.
No summer camps?
No.
No summer camps?
No.
Is this tea an idle threat?
Yeah, right. Come on, John. What's going on here?
Get the tea
You
on.
made
the
a lot
road,
of
so to
noise.
speak.
Yeah. Okay. The big pot could be
Here.
gently moved about just a little bit.
I'm gently moving it about.
Generally,
Well, you lift it in the air, offer it to the gods, what have you. Exactly. And then dribble a little bit into
Here,
your
darling.
cup.
Give me your glass.
And I'm getting the cup for.
Oh, no.
Oh, it looks pretty good. What do you think?
That's enough.
Now.
You want a little more?
Ooh,
That's strong.
I'm on TV too.
the sound. Baby, go over there and sit.
Who's
Over
cut?
here.
Bella, over there, over in the corner.
You
Go
got
over.
He thinks there's like actual food happening here. I'm moving the camera.
No, she. There's two things that she loves: affection and the ball.
And what?
The ball. Throw the ball,
Oh.
and she'll go after it.
Let's see how badly.
Did you ever know Chief Two Trees?
Oh yeah, I studied with him.
Chief was a dear friend, and you know there were a couple old dogs that hung around on the porch
Yeah.
there, and Chief would never let them get very close to him.
No.
Because he said that they would draw
Take
your
his
energy.
energy, yeah.
They would sap your energy. I mean, seems to me there are a lot of people who
Dinner time.
get a
Is
lot
there
of
any
energy.
tea left in that?
Who get a lot of energy from dogs?
Yeah,
They do.
yeah. The Chief was really sensitive to that.
Well, he was a sensitive guy. A great sense of humor.
Wonderful sensitive.
It's great. I remember he went to some speaking, and everyone's in their suits, and he's there, and people going, "Why don't you wear feathers?" You know, and you know, it's like just looked at him
You like it as good as it was?
Turkeys wear feathers.
right. Exactly. He said, and they said, "Why are you here?" He goes, "Only the check."
Did you ever see Chief in full regalia?
This more so, I think.
At drum circles, yeah.
Look forward to that one too.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Oh, and then.
But he's still here.
And then the other
Yeah, I
other
miss
box
going
that's
down
even
and hanging out with you
Yeah.
on the porch.
To me, it's a little too.
his
I call it
daughter is still there,
floral,
isn't
a
she?
little too much
Is
like
she still on the
flower.
property?
Yeah, I think so.
I kind of.
I haven't been here for 9 years, so
This must be delightful viewing for the audience.
Right.
No, it's not jasmine. It's
Maybe the
it
two of
says
you could
cinnamon
get
tea.
another cup.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Giants.
It's a tea party.
It's just.
We've had some focused moments, you know.
But they
The
don't
audience
last
is
long.
the audience is like a fly on the wall. Let them be a fly.
Exactly. That's exactly the. Okay, you want to talk about reality TV? I do reality. This is reality.
This is
reality.
This is
If
reality.
this is
TV.
reality, we are really in
There's
trouble.
some milk in there.
That's the milk.
Yep.
I do reality TV in that I mean this is what I do. I mean I have friends over for tea and we talk
So
about
other
what
than
we want to talk
photography, what do
about
you do?
and that's the reality of it.
Other
If
than
the camera
photography?
weren't here,
Right.
Not much.
it would be the same.
So
kind
in the
of photography
reality
do you
of
say?
modern day tea
What kind of
parties,
photography do I do?
I know.
Photojournalism.
this is
portraiture.
gourmet honey.
Nope.
Do you know Eric?
Nope. As
But
a
it
matter
is
of fact,
honey.
that
Teaches
is,
it
that
is
is
honey.
a blend
No.
of honey
You know Ben
and rice
Porter?
sugar.
Ben Porter, yes.
Wonderful. I mean, an alternative to
I
cane
met
sugar.
him a couple of
It's
times.
crucial.
Larry?
For
It
a good
is.
drink.
It
He used to
is.
teach at UNCA.
It's
I
a,
think it
and
might
it's a
be.
blend too. You know about
You'd know.
what's
Any
going
barley
on.
malt in here?
Probably.
I don't
Those are
think
my
so.
3 photo buddies.
Why, are
Larry-
you allergic to it or anything?
No,
Larry
barley
wine?
malt is especially.
Yes. Okay.
I think just
Yeah.
honey and rice sugar. That's what I think.
I've been a photographer for a real long time, since
Make sure
1969.
from
Oh, you've been a
Nice.
photographer?
It's heavy
Oh,
starch.
what's your name?
Al, like the
Use
bird.
some
JJ.
enzyme or something to break it down.
Nice to meet you.
When I was a young man,
You
I
what could read
was
on
a
it.
photographer
On the
at
back, maybe it says.
High Point Enterprise.
Okay. For the newspaper there.
Newspaper.
My brother lives in
Yeah,
High
this is a
Point.
new one.
That was a long time ago, and that
Went
was
to Hong Kong and
that was
Beijing.
so long ago. The police
Tried all
didn't
these
have
different teas at a
their own
tea
forensic
house. They had
photos, so we
5
used
or
to go
6
shoot
different
murders
teas.
for them.
My favorite was the
And the
oolong,
first
but
one
they
I
didn't have
showed up
this
to, I was-
particular
Ouija.
tea.
I was wearing shorts and flip
Maybe you
flops.
can.
The
I
guy
mean,
goes,
I'm like real proud of the tea that
"Go
I
in my
serve.
car."
Yeah,
It's
no,
all
this
those-
is very good.
they had, like,
I work
waiters.
hard to have
Oh,
it.
no.
That much
Yeah.
blood.
And it's
That.
and
Oh.
I
That's been
I have
bloody.
little old ladies.
Because that town, you know, they had
to my
everyone
tea
had a lot of
parties,
money.
you
It was big
and
furniture
they're a
town,
little
so everyone had a
skeptical
job.
at first, you know,
Yeah.
and we're all
Friday and
sitting around
Saturday, it was-
you know, talking crazy
everyone got
stuff.
drunk
all,
and just
they sit
shouted.
down. But if I can get them to
But it
take
was
a
a-
sip of
it
I
was
think
tea,
they still do
Yeah.
that.
It was a
Like,
really great
a
town
good-
because
a sip of
you know,
tea,
at that time,
a good
it was
tea
like still
will catch
racist.
a
I mean, we
little
were
old
racist
white-haired
still,
lady's
but
attention.
one of the first
You
things
know,
I ever shot was lynching.
they're a little,
I
they're,
never said-
you know, they're
you know,
a little
over-
frowny and stuff. They hit that
Go
tea
there, shoot at
and they
lynching.
go,
You know, I'm a kid
"This
from
is
New
good
York.
tea."
Not bad.
And then they join
I
right
had
in
this
the
guy
you know,
bob-wired to a
we're-
tree.
We're on a level
They were about to
playing
pull his
field
head
now.
off. And everybody was like
I
mugging for the
learned
shot.
about oolong
you
tea
know, like,
20 years
it
ago.
was no big deal. And
My
when
next door neighbor
everyone
in
kind of
college
clammed up just for a moment
was
when
a
I said,
Chinese
"What did he
fellow
do?"
from Taiwan, Fong.
Yeah,
I
everyone
saw him
looked
drinking
at
tea
me
once, and I
like-
asked him, you know, what are you drinking?
I said, "Oh, come on,
That-
gotta go."
tea. Was it like
It was
lifting
more
around
civilized.
and
You
laugh?
said your New
Oh.
York
I said, no,
accent.
no,
It's
this
more
is
civilized
made out
on
of
the
sticks
other
and
side
bark
of
and stuff
I-40.
that falls
I
to
was
the bottom
in
of the barrel. That's what we
Guilford
send to the
College.
Americans.
Hey guys,
So
what do you do?
this is
Well, I know
oolong
Gilbert
tea.
Carter. I have some kids.
So I remember
buddies
that
who
name
I went to high school
forever.
up there. That was like the art
Well,
school.
I didn't.
That's where I
be
went to
my
high
favorite
school
tea.
and
I
college.
didn't
So
buy
it was
My
on
brother
the
would
north
love
side
but
of
I think you'll
I-40.
like some of the teas that I
Totally
have
different
here.
world.
This is
Yeah,
very
it
nice.
And I
Yeah.
think maybe you'll like the.
So I lived in Australia in
This
the 80s.
one I like even better,
where
if you will. But I
there
like them.
was a
I
part of
only
Australia
try
where
to bring teas that I
it
like.
was legal
It's
to
not, there's
hunt
no bitterness, no
aborigines.
astringency. It's just
Like
smooth.
deer.
Oh,
It's delicious.
And when I tell people that, they go,
Ready to-
"Oh, that's
we get
terrible."
ready to
Well, in
find out about
1970, they were legally lynching people, so it's not much difference.
Can you reach it?
Legally.
Well, meaning if you did it, you did get into trouble.
Where was this? Texas?
No, and
High Point.
yeah, no, it wasn't in High Point.
High Point?
Because actually, High Point, it was really amazing how white people and black people got along. Because everyone worked